Hey everybody, it's ModelcarNick here today, and I'm going to be showing you around this Autoart Mclaren P1. And as you can see, it's finished in this really stunning white, kind of a pearlescent paint, and it's got these orange accents all around it. Finished also with the black and orange two-tone interior on kind of a graphite looking wheel. So let's get into it. I purchased this model maybe a year ago for $170, which is an absolute steal. I've seen a few of these in this particular colorway go for around $300. They did do a re-release of this model, so you can get a few different colors, and I think those newer models are going for maybe anywhere from $200 to maybe $250. I think is a fair price for these. But yeah, it's a really cool model, so let's get into it. So starting up front, as I always do, let's take a look at this McLaren badge. So it looks like it's actually a badge on this model, and it looks really nice. It kind of has this chrome surrounding it on the edges, and they did a really good job with that. And obviously, as you can see, this orange kind of accent line wraps around the front nose of the car, and it looks really cool. Behind there, we have these two big air intakes, as you can see. Can't really see too much behind there, but let's see if we can take a look at it. It looks like they have mesh grills sitting behind there, and it's Autoart, but I'm just gonna go ahead on a limb and say these, they look like real mesh grills, so really good job there. I appreciate those real mesh features. So looking up front, I think one of the biggest things you'll notice on this car is the use of carbon fiber. There's absolutely a ton of it all over this model, and I know it's a little bit dusty, but as you can see, all throughout the front splitter and kind of this front bumper section is all finished in carbon fiber, and it looks absolutely incredible. Sitting below that, though, we have another mesh grille kind of for the front air intake, and as you can see on either side, we have the front radiator sitting right there, so it looks really cool, really menacing from the front. Below this, as you can see, kind of another orange accent line following up with the front of that model, so it looks really cool. The headlights themselves, though, as you can see, it kind of has that McLaren swoosh design logo wrapped around the headlights, which is pretty standard for all McLaren models, especially of this generation. So you see that on this model pretty nicely, but within the headlights, as you can see, the kind of the high beams and everything like that. So it looks pretty cool. But yeah, looks really nice. We'll go ahead and open up this front hood, or this is a car from the UK, so it's probably called the bonnet. We'll go ahead and open that up, and as you can see, it looks really nice, especially with these hood struts right here. I really like when they implement these features, and they work really well in this model. So a lot of good details under there, all carbon fiber finished, and a little bit of trunk space. You can't put too much in there, but I guess just for demonstration purposes, we'll go ahead and put the screw in there, and as you can see, it fits very nicely. I probably won't be able to get that out, so we'll just leave it in there for the time being. But I'll go ahead and close this back up, and that's what it looks like. It kind of has this really nice kind of a magnet right here on the front of the nose. So when you close it, it has a really nice seal to it. So I appreciate those features. But we'll come down to the side of the model, and as you can see, the tires look like they're Pirelli P0s, and I know on the newer models they kind of have this wrap around the tire with the design. Sometimes they're in colors. I'm not really too much of a fan of that. I think it looked cool for a time and place, but I think when you get a model, you don't really want it to look outdated, and I think with these regular tires it looks a lot better, but that's my own opinion. You guys might disagree with that. But yeah, let's take a look at these wheels a little bit more. As you can see, they're kind of finished in this graphite color. They look really nice, and I'll put it in the light a little bit more. Orange brake calipers to match kind of the pinstriping around the car, so I really like that feature. And it does have the McLaren script written down the side of it, and these wheels are functional, so you can see them rotate, and that's a really cool feature. But behind there, it looks like the rotors are just regular rotors. They're not drilled or slotted or anything. So kind of a letdown on the rotor department, but I think everything else, especially with the tire details, it really makes up for that feature. But sitting in the center cap right there, there is another McLaren logo, and you can see kind of the 5 lug nuts that sit around it. So really cool looking wheel design. I do not see a tire air filler cap, so I guess they missed that point, but I'm not going to knock them on that because that's really, you know, minuscule. But we'll move down the side. As you can see, the body shape on this thing is pretty insane. And what I really like is this little kind of lip that comes up right through here, and you can see the wheel behind it. So really cool aero features, and I think they did a really good job on this model showing those. But behind there's kind of another air kind of guider. I don't really know how to call it, but the air on this car is pretty crazy. And if you can open up the doors a little bit, you can see some of the aero features on this car. So there's a big hole right there that leads through the air intake right there on the side. But we'll get into that in a little bit. And as you can see, I'm kind of opening that door and it didn't sound really good. This model is made out of 100% plastic, which is unfortunate, but it's pretty light. It just feels like you're going to break it every time you open something, so that's kind of unfortunate. But we'll move on with the mirrors. As you can see, it's finished in all carbon fiber with the kind of the orange pinstripe running down the side of it. It looks really nice. And then a big carbon fiber door, and it looks absolutely incredible. But if you look down here on the side skirt is also finished in carbon fiber. It's really hard to see, but it is there. One thing I kind of noticed today is this arrow feature right here on the side is kind of finished orange right here, and then it just stops all of a sudden towards the back, which is interesting because it actually does kind of continue through the side, but you kind of lose that paint color when you look at it at this angle. So it's kind of weird and kind of ruins the model a little bit, but now that I pointed out, you'll notice it quite frequently. But we'll keep moving on towards the rear of the model, and here's kind of a view of that. Looks absolutely incredible. Huge rear wheels on the back of this thing, of course. I think this car has like 1,001 horsepower. I could be totally wrong on that, but if I remember correctly, I think it was 1,000 horsepower, maybe 800 to 700, but something like that. Obviously, super fast car. I did forget to mention around the windows, kind of have this gloss black trim, and then carbon fiber sitting right behind the windows, so that looks really nice. The roof also has kind of a two-tone gloss black finish, and then carbon fiber as well on the roof. But here's the rear of it. Looks absolutely incredible. I love these rear kind of mesh grills that they added in, because you can really see everything sitting behind this kind of engine bay. So it looks really nice. A bunch of carbon fiber sitting back here, as you can see. The tail lights are smoked, so you don't really get to see those details, but they are there, and they did kind of a good job emulating, you know, the tail light design. But I kind of wish it was red, just so you would kind of see the outline of the tail lights a little bit better. But that another kind of you know, my personal opinion bunching in there. But right here we have the carbon fiber spoiler back here, and this does pop up, and I'll show you how that works in a little bit. But as you can see, it's kind of has this split weave design, so I think they did a really good job there with that spoiler. But as you can see, kind of the accent paint along this diffuser back here, and then the center exit exhaust sitting right there in the center. Looks really good. No complaints with the rear end of this model. It might be my favorite angle of the car. And then you kind of notice the body design. As you can see, they did a really good job emulating kind of all the curves that this car has. And I forgot to mention there's even air intakes right there on each side fender. And it's in the shape of the McLaren logo, so kind of a cool tie back to the McLaren brand. As you can see, McLaren is also written right there, and you can see the split weave design kind of continue with this piece right here. And the engine sitting back there, it says P1 right there, so it looks really nice. And then more mesh with the third brake light sitting right behind it, so it looks really sweet. Here's another view of that, and let's go ahead and take this engine cover off. So this engine cover, you kind of just pull back a little bit, and then it comes right off. As you can see, I don't have the wing attached, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So pick that up, and let's take a look at this engine bay. As you can see, it looks absolutely insane. They have the titanium exhaust box right here, and they did a really good job with the colors, I think, on that. I don't really see that too often on models, so I think they did a really good job right there. Right here, we have some radiators and some fans sitting on top of it, so really cool design. A bunch of carbon fiber, as you can see, kind of sitting within this engine compartment. It kind of has all carbon fiber finish except these side bits right here, which are kind of just finished in this matte black plastic, unfortunately. But everything else, I mean, you can see the engine block right there. Sits really down low in the engine bay, but really cool design. There is even a little window right there, so you can see out the back of it, I guess. But yeah, so talking about the rear wing. So to get that up, you kind of just have to pull these little fins out right here. Well, it's kind of hard. I don't want to break anything, but they do come up. So this would be what the wing or the wing would sit on right here, and they look really cool. There's a nice little hydraulic design there, but as you can see, there's these little knobs right here that the wing would sit on, and you would just slot those in. I've never done it just because I don't want to break the car, but they are there, so we'll try to get those on in a second. But to get this back on, and you can leave these little stands up for the wing. As you can see, this one's kind of fell down a little bit, but we'll pull it back up if it'll come up. It's kind of stuck. Oh, it's having a hard time. But anyways, I'll just go ahead and leave that out. But we'll put those back down, put the rear wing back where it goes. But it does come up. Unfortunately, it's just not designed very well to, you know, get that function working, because you can leave the wing down and take off the engine bay a lot, you know, easier. But if you wanted to take it off with the wing attached, you'd have to remove this wing, unfortunately. So kind of a weird thing going on with this model, but I do like how they gave us the option to see the engine bay or have the wing up. I know the wing looks really cool up on this model, so, you know, you pick your poisons here. I just like having access to the engine bay a little bit more than I would having the wing up. But yeah, that's kind of the engine bay and the exterior of this model. So let's take a quick peek at this interior. Like I said, these doors, they don't really come up very well. There's a bunch of plastic sounds, so I'll give you a listen to that. Sounds like you're gonna break it. It's really terrible, honestly. But the doors do come up, and I'll get the other side open real fast. This one's a little bit better, a little bit more clearance on each side. Just be careful opening these things because you don't want to break this car. It's very expensive. So carbon fiber tub, as you can see, all over the door sill. You get this nice carbon fiber weave, and then the orange seats obviously accent the exterior very well. But I think they did a good job with the steering wheel. You know, it looks pretty plasticky, but it's plasticky in a sense where it almost looks like Alcantara. So it's really interesting down there. As you can see in the foot pedal box, we have some metal, you know, gas pedal and brake right there, so it looks pretty cool. And on the steering wheel, they colored the buttons. There's some red and blue stuff going on back there, but it's kind of hard for me to see. And then as you can see, there's even stuff on the gauge cluster, which is really nice on this model. Let's take a look at the other side real fast. Maybe we'll get a better view of the interior that way. So here it is. I think the McLaren kind of center console design is really interesting because sitting behind that, you don't really have, you have this little hole right there that I think you can put water bottles in, but, you know, pretty spacious interior, I suppose. I mean, for a car of this size, you know, you get a little separation between the seats, which you don't really see anymore, especially on cars like the Valkyrie or the McLaren Speedtail. Which I have a review out on my channel if you're interested in seeing the Autoart Speedtail. But yeah, here's kind of another view of that interior. But it looks pretty good, especially the seats with this two-tone design. Kind of has like a black center. But yeah, it looks really sweet. So I'll go ahead and close that up, and we'll talk about the model as a whole. So overall, I mean, I'm happy with this model just because I think I got a really good deal on it. I don't know if I could really justify spending the $200+ on this model just because I'm personally a bigger fan of the LaFerrari, which might be a little bit controversial, but I think it's just a more angry looking car than the McLaren P1. I mean, don't get me wrong, this car, especially in this color scheme, makes it look super cool and kind of outlines the shape of the model a little bit more, but for me, the Ferrari LaFerrari is just a little bit cooler of a car to me personally. You guys might disagree with that, but let me know which one's your favorite out of the big three in the comments below. Besides that, I think they could have done a better job with the doors, and I'm just really kind of sick of this plastic material on these cars. I feel like I'm going to break it every time I take it out of the box. So a little bit unfortunate there, but I think they knocked it out of the park with all the carbon fiber details. The engine bay is absolutely incredible. So honestly, you really are getting what you paid for when you get this model. I would just say try to get a fair price for one. But yeah, that's kind of my review of this model. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're hitting close to almost 500 subs, so thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate the support, and we'll have more videos like this coming out in the future. So take it easy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.